Let me show you my home. Meet my dog, Buster. Always when I'm back, he's so proud and happy. He runs around the yard and barks. It looks like he wants to announce to everybody, "Hey, look who's here." He is a good boy. This is the place I've spent first 18 years of my life, and the house has changed many times, but it's still the same home. I remember when those trees were maybe 2 meters high. In this living room, I used to do my homework while watching football matches on Sundays. Here I had breakfast at 6 a.m. before I left for school. And my room, which I always shared with my brother. I can't recall a single name of the movie we watched together, but I have this feeling that it just makes me warm inside when I think about it. I passed through these fields and this road countless number of times. It's on my running route and it has exactly 16 kilometers. Coming home is a little bit weird for me, always. It's like I can finally take the adult costume off and be a kid again. And I can go out and play football in my yard, exactly as I did 10 years ago. I can ride a bicycle and then just chill by the river. That river. That river is one of the most important places of my childhood. During summer, it was a place to be. Everyone was here. This was the first time I rode bike while holding my camera. I almost fell. I was hugely surprised one time when I came back after a few months of being in Krakow and this lumber mill appeared out of nowhere. When I was leaving, it was just like a plain field of grass, and I came back and here it is. And it looks really cool. And when the day is coming to an end, we used to sit with my father and share stories. And he has some really amazing ones, and what's even better that he always has a new one. I guess he had a really interesting time when he was young. Before I left, I really wanted to go to one place. It's called the Echo Lake, and during summer it's super crowded. You have a really hard time to find a place to even lay a towel. But when I was there, and it was around 6 a.m. during sunrise, it was completely empty. And it was a time for me where I could just stop, sit down, and think. And it was kind of my way of saying goodbye to this place and leaving for the next time. So then I went to Warsaw. And during the past few years, most of my friends has moved there, and I can't blame them. You have a lot of opportunities there. And I have some great memories with this city too. When I was in 6th grade, we went on a school trip and we've seen all the landmarks and the touristic places, and we of course heard about the history, but what was cool about this trip? And I really remember it very, very vividly. It was when we went to the shopping mall and we had a free time and we were just running around, and I got lost with my friend and we had no idea how to find others, and we were just walking and asking people for directions and they couldn't help us, but somehow after half an hour of just going around, we managed to find our classmates. And I remember it wasn't scary, it wasn't anything special. We just kept talking about it for weeks and weeks, and it was the memory we shared. And do you see the National Stadium over there? I think last time I've seen it, I was almost crying from relief. It was in 2015 during Berlin Warsaw Marathon. What I remember is when I saw this stadium, I knew that, okay, I can't give up now. And I cried a lot afterwards. But those were happy tears. So next day I woke up at 5 a.m. to catch the sunrise and go to the gym with my friend before he'll go to work. I didn't really have to wake up that early, but there is something magical about being awake during sunrise. You can kind of see the very raw view of it and kind of get this intimate relationship and get to know it like no one else does, because who's awake at 5 a.m.? I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does. So I just grabbed a bus and I went to see him. Here he is. His name is Paweł, exactly like me, Hege. And after a workout, I had a quick 8-hour break for work and I was free to go and meet some other friends. And please forgive me, but I didn't record anything else because, I barely had an opportunity to see them, and I just decided I want to focus and be present instead of recording. Maybe that video would be better if I would keep recording and focusing on gathering these shots. But I don't regret it. I really had a really good time. But I've been in Warsaw only for a while because it was my stop on the way to Barcelona. So the next day I landed in the morning and I went to see the city. Of course, as I am a lucky person, Barcelona was 10 degrees colder than Warsaw and it was rainy. I didn't really had an agenda for sightseeing. I just decided to walk around and explore, and I left this room for serendipity, to just let things happen, So I was walking around and it was my first trip when I was traveling alone. Usually when I was traveling, I used to do it either with my friends or group of friends, or I knew someone at the place I was going to. So that was kind of a new experience for me. Some nice guy let me to ride his Segway and I did it for the first time in my life. So I almost fell. I've definitely seen some really cool places. The sea, this little league match, this tree, some old famous guy museum. Life advice? Always appreciate it. And this arch? Pretty dope. Those guys have a very nice stage. I've been walking around for some time and finished my day in Montjuic Hill. And is it beautiful? Of course it is. And it was pretty quiet and calm, so I had time to think while looking at a really dope view of the sunset. I realized one thing. I really like the city. Of course it's really beautiful, but something was missing. I missed my friends. I really wanted to share the joy of being there, but I had no one around to do it. For the past 8 months I've been abroad. I needed to come back and live again to realize how important those people are for me. And I've always thought that I'm good with being alone, that I'm highly individual, but I was always surrounded by friends, and every individual needs other people to share their individualism. So I've been living in a beautiful city on the other end of Europe. I traveled, but it's so plain and pointless if at the end of the day if your closest ones are on the other side of the continent. And does it sound obvious? Of course it does. It's still, I learned about it only 2 months ago. So don't be like me. Don't take your friends for granted. Be a good one. Do a kindness. Be there for them. I guess this is what it's all about. At least for me it is. Now.